This is S&P, NASDAQ, Dow. I've got the Russell right here. You can see these big moves. I've actually expanded the chart so that we're focused in on what's been going on since our Genesis bar. You can see it there in the background. But what I want to do is take you over and show you what happens when we look at this on a swing chart. Obviously, the swing chart looks pretty bad because we've seen what the markets have done today, and it's a big departure from what we've seen. But move over to our next step, and we go to the long view, and this is showing me each of these bars represents 1 week. Now, can everybody see the charts? You see what I'm talking about here? Want to make sure because there are no slides for this. You won't be able to just get the slides later. This is live in real time. I'm trying to show you something about the markets. Okay, great. So we're going to focus mainly on the S&P. It's the market I know best. This move here from this week to this one, kind of a big deal. You'll notice the market sort of gaps up. In fact, the high of this week, 60, or this particular week I'm pointing out in the charts was 66.06. Low of the one before that was 66.11. And before that, by the way, 66.24. So that 25 area kind of big for us right now. If we get below it, you could have a bit of market correction. Now, how many of you understand why we got that jump? Because this is a futures trading thing, which might be a little bit different. I know most of you guys in here, you're going to be focusing on stocks and options and all of that, right? So if you're following futures, do you understand the concept of rollover? I'm asking the room, looking to figure out who I'm talking to at the moment. Okay, we got some yeses and we got some nos. Okay. Well, it's a little bit confusing. It's one of the great things about sticking with the SPY because you don't have to worry about it. Yeah, we rolled from the September to the December contracts. Now, as far as this chart is concerned, you'll notice this is the ESZ25. But what we do is we have these charts set to be continuous, which means we just go from straight from the September contract, which closed 65.88, to the December contract, which opened at 66.45. So we have this premium that has been added into the market. And it's not any real change in price. It's just that we're moving from one contract to the other. But a lot of times what you'll see is the market try and come down and fill that in. And that's one of the reasons we dropped from 66.45 to 66.11 on the beginning of this December contract as lead. But it didn't get down to '06 and it didn't get down to 65.88. So as I'm looking at the market right now and I'm seeing this behavior, I don't think this was necessarily because of that. But when the market has a big move, we always look to, okay, where is the support? Where are the support lines going to be? And so a couple numbers you need to be aware of if this market keeps dropping down. First of all, that 25 number, we talked about that earlier in Train and Trade. Below that, 66.11, and below that, 65.88.50. So you would probably want to write those down. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and type them in. So we've got 66.25, and I'm just rounding out these numbers to make them a little bit easier for you to see. 66.11 and 65.88. So again, those three big numbers, 66.25, 66.11, I rounded down to 10, and then 65.88. Those are three big numbers that the market could gravitate towards if it decides to keep falling. We've got a low today of 66.3150 in the S&P futures, and we're going to see how this market reacts to that information. We got a few more people logging in. Jonathan or Adam, whenever you guys are ready to play music, just let me know and we'll get that switched over for you. So, always when you're looking at a market that's in crisis, you want to start playing chess instead of checkers. We want to be able to think three, four steps ahead instead of just what's next. Because what's next in a market like this can change so quick that you end up having to review and go back through and research again. And the more times you're spending doing that, the less times you're spending paying attention to the market. So always think three, four steps ahead instead of just the next step. And this is part of that, but there's more, right? So if we were to take a look at a market like the Nasdaq, let me put the Nasdaq in focus here because the S&P is something I understand, but I want to show you a market that I'm not really following that closely. You go to a swing view of the Nasdaq. What am I looking at? Well, just looking at these daily numbers, we just got below that 24,633, which would have been the low from October 1st. So that's a new low of the month in the NASDAQ. And we're going to be looking to see if there's support around this area here at 24,422. Notice I'm putting my cursor over these bars and we have everything moving with that. So those are going to be the big numbers. Watch out for that 24,422 or shorten it up 24,420. But then we'll go to the long view and we'll see that weekly chart. And you see that same little jump up when we moved into the December contract as lead. The high point there, 24,159, the close, 24,115. So those are going to be two numbers to pay attention to. And then the low point on the next day, 242, right? So if you get below 242, what are you looking for? 160, and then 115. 24, 160, 24, 115. So this is how we can go and prepare. It's not a big secret. It's just be able to jump through these time frames, go back and look and see where there might be levels of support. And if we break through those levels, of course, you come down and look here, 23,025, 23,035. So right there around 23,030, and then back a little bit, 22,775. So whatever it is you're looking at, always don't be afraid to flip those time zones and start thinking a couple steps ahead of what the market is currently showing you. Does that make sense? Make sure you guys are all following along. Right. So, has anybody got a stock that they might want to look at? We can use the roadmap to do that. I mean, I use it for futures, but it is very adaptable to your favorite stock. So, Apple. Apple's a great choice. Okay. So let's go in here. I'm going to take the Dow out of commission, just spread this a little bit, and we'll change this to Apple. All right. And you see this intraday move, all these lines concentrated down here. But let's go to the swing view of Apple. And this is, of course, looking at the daily charts. So my first look here is this area of support that's getting kind of hidden by the board there. But 236.65, and that's from 246. So about 10 points lower, you've got another big support area. We'll go into the long view. And just like with our futures contracts, Apple had that big jump up. They went from 245.50 and then opened at 248.30. So that 245.50, that's the area that you're pressuring right now. You're pressuring into that close back on September 15th, right? And then pull that back a little bit. And where's the support? First of all, the low 235, and then back at 225. So basically, I would look at Apple and say this is pretty simple. It's 245, 235, 225 as your major support areas. Uh, it's always nice when a stock makes things kind of simple, and I think that's what Apple's doing. Well, we could look at a bunch. I know that we're expecting Tom coming in the next few minutes, so I don't want to get too sidetracked. But I'm just going to pick out a few that have been suggested. There are plenty of stocks that are being suggested, but one of the big things I know Tom has been focused on, metals and silver has been pretty big. Let's look at SLV. Same principles here. Let me take this in the right way. So here's the intraday on silver, and you can see that it doesn't have that huge drop that we have in our other markets, on our stocks and on our futures, because of course this is a metal. This is where people go to. It's remained stable, and I think you could probably say the same thing of gold. Now, if we go and look at a swing view on SLV, you can see it's been bouncing around, had a pretty rambunctious day the day before, staying inside that pretty consistent trend here. So I don't think we're getting much out of that, but let's go and look at the long view. And this is week by week, and huge move. So where is major support in silver? Probably at the low this week at 42.81, or the open of the week at 44.01. Go back a little bit and you're looking at 41.66. And then, well, it keeps going. Uh, but yeah, we'll just pop up those intraday charts to really see what the market is capable of showing us. And still got a few more minutes here before Tom joins us. Put this back at the normal size. Show you another little tool that I like to use in Roadmap. You see the ETR line up here? Gives us the open and all those information. So I'm able to track a whole bunch of futures markets, stock markets, uh, everyday symbols. Let me click you over to another tab. This is where I've got all of them in line. And I actually want to take a screenshot of this. Let me see if I can figure out a way to do that. Here we go, little snipping tool. Take that so I can go back and look at it while we've got other things going on. And there we go, get that out of the way. But what this is, I've got this set up where I've got an ETR page for the opens, for the highs, and for the lows. And for people that don't really read tables, don't really read numbers, this can be a little bit confusing, a little bit daunting. But what we're doing with it, or what I'm doing with this particular page, is I've got all these numbers that I can reference and pay attention to. Now, this is on the half hour framework, but we're focused on the lows here. So let's go down to this bottom page. And here's a neat little thing. We can change the interval, move this over to daily, and this will fill in with the daily lows so that you can go back and look at that over time. Uh, do we have a retirement update? Yeah, Jonathan has a link to that recording, which will be posted shortly. Um, 30-minute candle bar seems to work so well in the daylight today. Yeah, it does. It does. Those larger time frames start to be more and more impactful. So here's the lows on the daily basis, but we can also change this interval. And instead of D for daily, I'm going to use W for weekly. And so some of those big numbers, you can see them just floating across. There's the 24 quarter, 66.11. And as you see the market dropping down, drop below 66.80. It's been down to 31.75. The next major support, 24 quarter, then 11. then 64.80. Kind of a scary drop there. But the same is true here in the NASDAQ. In the Dow, you got gold, silver, crude, natural gas, bonds, Nvidia, Advanced Micro Devices, Apple, Tesla, Diamond, QQQ, SPY, TQQQ, and SQQQ, all that information. And we can look at this rather than bring up a chart for everything we're looking at, get the information this way. Now, I think the charts show you a little bit more information. This is only going to give you one data set at a time, but it's a pretty powerful tool. Now, I typically keep that interval set at 30. It's 30 minutes. So I'll flash that back. That's the way it's supposed to look. Back over to the main page, and the versatility that we have within the roadmap software is what makes days like this. It makes these days worth being around for, because wow, that roadmap software is really doing its work right now as we're expecting to see the S&P get down to where? Where's that next number? Right below where we're trading right now. We're at 2066, 2675. You guys who were listening in, a couple numbers typed into the chat earlier, you saw them. What's that next big number? Well, the 10 follows. The 10 follows. That was going to be the follow-up question, David. Uh, but the first one is 25, right? So we haven't quite made it to 25, but we're getting close there. And then that next number would be that 6610, 6611 number. So again, always think a couple steps ahead of the market. Do the research you need to do to be in a position to take advantage of what the market's showing you. I think we're getting pretty close to the time where we're expecting to begin this week review. So I'm going to let either Jonathan or Adam, whoever is going to pick up the presentation and play a little music for us. I'm going to let you guys take over.
In the early light, before the rooster crows, T-Buzz sits where the ticker flows. A coffee cup, a steady hand. He trades the market like a riverboat man. Oh, T-Buzz, he's trading his way through the peaks and the falls, come what may, with a gut full of grit and a heart that won't sway. T-Buzz, he did it his way. stars in the sky, looking for answers, a reason why. Some call it luck, some call it skill, but Tom just calls it paying the bills. Through the red and the green, he's danced with a line. Every loss and each win, a tale of his time. Oh, T-Buzz, he's trading his way through the peaks and the falls, come what may, with a gut full of grit and a heart that won't sway. T-Buzz, he did it his way. Not every day's a victory, not every trade a gold, but he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold. With his eyes on the prize, his heart in the fray, T-Buzz stands tall at the end of the day. Not every day's a victory, not every trade a gold, but he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold. With his eyes on the prize, his heart in the fray, T-Buzz stands tall at the end of the day. Not every day's a victory, not every trade a gold, but he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold. With his eyes on the prize, his heart in the fray, T-Buzz stands tall at the end of the day. Not every trade a gold, but he's learned to weather storms, let the stories unfold.
Okay, folks, we can get started here. Tom is having a real bad time with Jacksonville traffic. He had a doctor's appointment and is going to be just a few minutes late still now. We were talking on the phone. Yeah, it's a great song, James, isn't it? Great song, thanks to AI. And Adam got that created for us with the help of AI, AI is pretty incredible. It's all the praise nowadays, of course, and for good reason. It's an incredible thing. Chuck was talking just a moment ago. Chuck, I don't know if you wanted to add anything else to what you were saying. I can start the slides if we need be. Yep, there's no rush.
Yeah, no, there was yeah, just kind of showing off what the roadmap could do, and I know you've got your roadmap there also. I think that people kind of get in their heads that charting software is about showing last traded prices and simple charts, and the fact of the matter is that there's a lot more research that goes into it. So I think just having the capability to go and do that research specifically on days like today, get that information popped up quickly. I think that let me just praise the roadmap software a little bit more. I think that's the key takeaway for me.
Yeah, so on a day like today, what's we oftentimes look at the research key. Is there a particular feature that you go to find those key trading levels?
Well, a lot of it you can get in charts if you're focused just on, one market. Like uh, with our compass charts, that we can, and you know this, I don't know why I'm trying to explain this to you, but you can flip from intraday to swing to long to really get a sense of what the market's trying to show you.
Yep, the intraday is going to give you 30-minute candles by default. The swing is going to give you daily candles by default, and the long is going to give you weekly candles.
Right. And you start to see certain patterns. Like if you flip over, you're on the long for the S&P. Um, I- you can't really see it because it's all spread out, but that event about 4 weeks ago and the gap that was in the market.
Right here.
Yeah, right there. That to me was a big event. And when you go back and look at that that weekly chart, that should jump out and grab you, right? So now I'd want to say, okay, well, based on that time frame, what does that look like everywhere else? And also, what are those numbers? Right. So as you put your cursor over that, Jonathan, you can see the low after the gap, 66.11, and the
Yep.
high before the gap, which was that 66.06, right?
Yep.
So when I'm looking at the market saying what's next, that's probably what's next, right? And then we can go
Yeah.
back and do that research. Now, then you throw in something like the ETR page where you can focus on the lows of a couple different markets across the board, or the opens of a couple different markets across the board, and change your interval to where you're looking at something like dailies. So,
Okay, the ETR page, I'm going to right click on it and change the interval
right.
to D
And
for daily.
yep.
All right, it resets a few things. And we're still looking at opens.
Yeah, you can look at opens, or under show, you can have it show you the highs or the lows or anything else in there. The lows in particular, because we got a market going down, right?
Okay.
Now, I think you got to scroll back a little bit further. I don't know if you have enough days in there because you're only going back to September 24th, but you can always add
Certainly
in.
some columns. That's right. Let's do that. Oops, not
No,
column.
not columns, rows.
Control insert. Get some rows
Yeah.
on here.
Okay, there we go. And you can see those opens.
There's the
Uh,
66.11. These are the lows now, and there's our 66.11 from September
oh,
17th.
those are the lows. Okay, I was wondering, wasn't it 45, but 41.75 on that first day after rollover. But yeah, that 66.11, and then follow that through with the Nasdaq, with the Dow. The Dow, you actually had that 46,020 earlier in the week, so the 37 was not, the low of the week there. But you can see those separations each week is the five column, or yeah, the 5 row run, and then you see the weekend going out yellow. That's the separation. So kind of easy to spot where were the lows on that week, right? You can see that. Now, if you come down to that next week, the September 22nd through 25th, a little bit more difficult to spot because there are a lot more lows in there, but still easy to read those numbers. That's that 66.24 quarter, or the 24.422 in the Nasdaq. So notice the difference here. You have the S&P with the low that's 13 points higher than it was on the previous week. In the Nasdaq, that's 200 points. And then you look at the Dow, and it's not as much as the Nasdaq, right? That's only about a 80-point gain there for the Dow. So you get a sense of how these markets are balanced out, and then as we flush that down to the current time frames and see that same level of development, 66.80 versus 24 in the S&P, right? Comparing those weekly lows. Now you get the same thing when you go to something like Numbers That Pay on a daily basis, but being able to put this together and see that those lows on the weekly basis, and we can also look at the highs and get another comparison there. And it's not just the S&P, Nasdaq, and Dow, but as you see on this chart, you got the SPY, the QQQ, the TQQQ. Jonathan's got gold and silver and crude. The SPX, for those of you who would rather trade the SPX than the S&P futures, all that information is there and is available, and we can, move things around. But if we click this back to a 30-minute time frame, back on the interval, there you go.
And you want it on the open or the high or the low?
Well, doesn't really matter. We'll just find a start point. So these are the highs you're looking at. And if I'm in a short trade and I'm trying to figure out where should my stop be, the high of the previous bar, right? So,
66.45.
well, 45.75 is the high of the current bar with this setup. The mini pivot is the current bar, right? So 1330, Jonathan's roadmap on Central Time would be the previous bar. We're about to change over in about 4 minutes. But that 58.75. So if I'm in a short position right now in the S&P, where's my risk? I don't want to see the market back above 58.75. Now, you think to yourself, I don't trade futures. Okay, fine. If you're in the SPY, 659.40. So if we get back above 659.40, you don't want to be in a short position anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sure does, and it pinpoints the risk that's in the market when the market falls like this and the VIX spikes up. That's something Tom's gonna be talking about here when he joins us in a few minutes.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but because of the way this ETR page is configured right now, we're taking that back end of the trend. It's a downward trend, the back end of the trend. Where should your stop be? Follow that line. If there's something that you trade, make sure it's in your ETR page, and this gives you that information. So it's a extremely useful tool, and it's just one of the tools in the roadmap software.
Yeah, hey Tom, looks like Tom has joined us.
Yeah, I tell you, trying to get here was no easy thing, but I made it, folks, made it. All right, a couple things you need to know. Chuck gave us some numbers earlier today. 6640 leads us to 6618. Okay, 6618. My advice to circle the wagons was good advice, as I've been through a lot of these. I talked to several people on the phone, and I said, look, if you just put positions on, go to the house with them. We'll put them back on next week when things settle down. I will spend the weekend, as I always do, looking for opportunities, but I can tell you the following. The market is coming off. There's, I think, a press conference I read or heard at 5 o'clock. And, you know, I feel pretty good about the fact that here we are and we had the scale. Did you see how many people were there when Chuck posted these numbers? Sort of a roadmap to the close, so to speak. Did y'all see those numbers? Chuck, can you repost it if you can? Because I want people to learn from that experience. I wanted you to give it to me where I could keep up with things because it was great. And, you know, when it broke 66.40, it led to the next stop at 66.18. Now, I don't have anything below 66.18, Chuck. I don't know if you've got anything or not, but 66.18, we just hit 18 and a half. Does everybody agree by saying yes that having these numbers are very helpful? Yeah. Okay. So luckily, I did put on a weekend side hustle trade, and I want to, can we blow up a chart? And I just want to go through the Seven Sisters and make some comments, and then go to a few stocks and make some comments. Start out with the daily, if you will.
Okay, daily chart S&P futures.
Yeah, if you look there, you're getting into a support area. There's a gap. Does everybody see that gap going back over there where we broke out right there? Where's the top of that little gap there, Jonathan, if you can see it? The one right over here on the daily.
6606.
Well, folks, that'd be the next number down, I would think, if it breaks 18. But 18 is a pretty good number, as Chuck gave us. Okay, definitely the market, I think, is going to go up. But the question is, I will help you navigate the timing of that, as you always know I do. And I'll do that over the weekend, and I'll be ready to go. So don't miss a live showing is all I'm going to say. Next slide, NASDAQ.
Daily chart NASDAQ.
Same thing. The NASDAQ, what's that little low there on the NASDAQ? The green low where the gap is. Where's the gap? Where's that number on the NASDAQ, the gap?
Well, the high before the gap was 24,159.
Write that number down, folks. That's a good number. 24,000. What is it?
159.
Okay, 159. That's a logical spot for this thing to end, okay? Write that number down. That's why I want to do this. All right, hit skip the Dow, but go to crude oil. Crude oil's en route, headed to 45. If you're in my futures first, I would look at a put spread in futures first, okay? I would look at that. Okay, that's what I would do. Fred, I'm gonna get there. Just hold on. We got time. We got time. Okay, what is that in there? Crude oil. Everybody see crude oil? It's breaking today. This is the day it's breaking. Crude oil. All right, gold.
Daily chart gold.
All right, here's what you got to know about gold. If the market goes further lower on Tuesday morning, okay, then I would expect gold to sell off, and it always sells off the first 24 hours on day number 2. Keep that in mind. That's a little insight there on gold. Put silver.
Silver. Daily chart.
Yeah, silver. Okay.
You want some bonds?
Yeah, throw bonds in there real quick. Yeah, bonds are a buy. I'd go watch the video on futures first Sunday night. Take a look at bonds. Matter of fact, I will type some stuff in there after I do my homework. Okay, on bonds and on gold and silver Sunday night. Okay. All right, put the QQQ in there.
QQQ.
All right, what's the top of that gap over there? We're about there on the QQQ, aren't we? In the top of that gap?
Well, let's see.
Yeah, that one. What is it?
This gap here was a 591.75.
Where are we trading?
592.19.
Got about another $1 to go there. Okay. All right. Put the SPY in.
September 17th. Let's see. Yeah, we're below that already. September 17th, which was the same day as the others for the gap. The high was 661.72.
Okay. All right. Put SPX in there.
September 17th high was 66.24.
66.24.
Yep.
Okay. All right, let's do this. Would y'all like a trade? If I could give you a trade, you got to risk $100 a contract. Anybody want to trade? All right, Jonathan, find me a dollar price of a dollar debit spread on SPX and go out to Tuesday.
Okay, Tuesday's expiration is the 14th. And we're
Pay a
looking
dollar or a dollar debit.
or a 5 white on the SPX, right?
Yep.
All right, let's see how far down we got to go.
This is a dollar, $100. Now this is all or nothing bet. Everybody understand that, right? Fred, all or nothing.
All right. Well, we're looking at the 64.85, 64.80. Now these are all pretty wide in today's market, so you have
Hey,
to
you gotta put a limit order in, okay? Okay, which day did I say that'd be the 13th?
October 14th.
The 14th, let's go to the 14th, right? 14th. Okay, let's just see. Which one is it, Jonathan?
I think you'll be able to get the 85.80, 64.85, 64.80. Use a limit of $1. We'll see. What's the 65.49 or 95? Yeah, so that's $1.15 mid, $1.20. That's probably chewing off a little too much, but 85.80 is marked at $1 right now.
I got 64, 85, 80 at $1. That's $100, right, Jonathan?
Yes, it is.
Everybody understands this is a throwaway 100, but it's like a tip. It'll pay you $400 if it keeps going. Jonathan, how's that weekend side hustle trade looking?
See. Yeah, doing good. It's up to $1.17 or so. We told them $1.19 or higher. $1.19, $1.29. So
How about that? Another winner from the weekend. I'm gonna give it to $1.10. I'll go $1.10 on things, see if I can get filled. If they fill me. I got filled at $1 and a dime. Come on, folks. Anybody take the weekend side hustle trade I put out today? Give me some love. Neil said he did. Fred said he did. All right. I feel better. Folks, I don't have any open positions other than one in a stock. And I think I'm okay there, but it's a hood stock. But you see what I did. Learn from what I did. What did I do when I recognized lightning had struck? Fred, I'd hold it. Not unless it went to $2. I'd take $2. I'm gonna put an order in at $2 on the thing. But I'd hold it. I think it'd be lower. We get out. We'll see. What would you do? Everybody can do their own thing. It's a sort of a general deal here. But I'm gonna take $2 if they pay me. I'll go sideline it too. I'd take 50%, wouldn't you? Jonathan, would you take 50% on $1? Or that'd be 100%, wouldn't it? I'd take 100% on $1. Fred, would you take 100% on $1 for the close? Yeah, I would too. I set the order in. I don't know if we get filled or not, but I'll put it in there. All right, so Josh, let's get to we have some slides to get through.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And just to confirm for all you weekend side hustle folks, just hit 119, actually 121, 122-ish on that spread. So it's in our target range. If you want to milk it, market still
on you. We're taking it, putting it on the books.
Back to the slides.
Okay, let's go to the slides. I can't see the slides. I'm waiting for the slides. Risk involved in trading. We know about that, don't we, folks? In my opinion, the market had lightning strike. Typically, if it doesn't turn around by Genesis, it doesn't turn around. It didn't turn around by Genesis, did it? That's why I did the weekend side hustle trade after Genesis, okay, in my opinion. The power of that weekend side hustle trade can't be understated. Now, I've mentioned VIX futures were up over 15% when we did the slides. VIX futures right now are at 19.93. Just do the opposite trade, Cherry. I don't have time, but you have to mirror that trade. Mirror the trade, the same strikes and everything for the day after, I guess. That'd be the easiest way to do it, right, Jonathan? If she's got a long put spread, just do the opposite the day later, and you can get out both on Monday, right?
Yeah, that'd be, yep, definitely could do that one. Yep. We've done it before.
Yep. Yeah, do it for Tuesday. Tuesday, Sherry. Markets open Monday, Jonathan?
As far as I know.
It's Columbus Day. I was just curious if everything's open.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the market closing down on Columbus Day, so we should be good.
Okay, keep going. There's a ladder. 6606 is a new number. I'll have a whole new set of them come Monday. What's that, Jonathan, just posted in there?
That's your hedge for Sherry.
Oh, you should. That's just for Sherry. Don't do that trade. She's trying to hedge herself aboard a day trade.
Yeah, I only sent it to Sherry and you, of course.
Okay. All right, question. What action should you take when lightning strikes and the market has a rapid decline? I do the same thing every time this has. You should circle the wagons and protect yourself against any bullish positions. What I do, I just get out personally. I can always get back in, but a lot of people can't do that, I guess, but I do that. If I'm heavily invested in options, I typically just get out until my expiration date, unless my expiration date's for 25 days, and I believe the market can recover. Generally speaking, I might keep one out 21 days if I already have it spread or something like that. But generally speaking, I'm pretty well in cash. These are things I do every time lightning strikes like this. People who've been with me 10, 15 years are used to this routine. Okay. What's the best way to take advantage of a market rapidly declining? What's the best way? Now remember, a market that rapidly reclines can rapidly turn around on you too, right? Okay. Keep your hands in your pockets, the best way to observe this today. Is there any validity to the rumor or what you hear on the street about down Fridays, down Monday theory? Anybody ever heard that before? The weekend effect is a notable anomaly where stock returns on Monday often trend lower than on the preceding Friday. Various factors such as rational investor behavior and the timing of negative news releases by the companies contribute to this pattern. Therefore, we can expect a test of whatever low is today come next week. What's the most important part of the trading process every trader should do when you see a down Friday in the market? Use the time over the weekend, evaluate everything you have, stay calm, and plan your next week. Follow the process and keep your emotions out of the process. It's a lot easier not being in the market to think clearly. Don't go into the hope stage. Hope stage will cost you money. What are the implications when a ticker breaks its monthly open? That's a warning sign there's more downside may be on the horizon. I will collect and do some work over the weekend, Sunday night. Don't miss 8 o'clock. All I would tell you. This is a warning sign when it breaks its monthly open. I'll go through some stocks and see where they stand. Let's look at these 4 stocks as examples today. The SPY. Expect lower prices, 657. 657 is the monthly open, right, Jonathan?
Actually, the low of the day is now 654, so I'll update the slides as we go along.
No, but what is I'm trying to know what the monthly open is. Put that
the
on.
monthly open. The monthly open is right there in the metric, 663.17.
Yeah, I can't see it. Can you put it over the column? Below 663, the monthly open, expect lower prices. I use that monthly open to gauge whether a stock should go up or down, okay? And that helps me understand on a rally how where next resistance is. See the way I think about that, folks? That's my measurement. That's my metric. That's my line in the sand. 663. I'm writing it down right now, but I'll do it over the weekend. I'll know that number. That's for the SPY, right, Jonathan?
That is the SPY.
That's your number. Okay. You'll be a lot better off, Gwen. Save a lot of losses by eating it and moving on and getting back in. That's the SPY. What else you got for us? QQQ. The month opens 597. Where's it trading?
593.
There's your number. That has now resistance in the current market. Okay. What else you got?
Well, I'm trying to update it as we go. Tesla, the month open is 443.80.
Okay, that's Tesla. They did some damage today, I can tell you that, looking at this. Okay, what else?
Month open
Yeah,
on
I
Apple.
would, Carol. I'd hold it.
The month open on Apple is 255.
255. Where is it currently trading?
247.
That's not good, folks. That's 2 of the 7 of the big boys below their monthly open. Now, let me ask you a question. Does everybody see how simple I lay out Lightning? Where you think and now you're focusing on numbers rather than motions. Does everybody see how I do this? I will have a game plan when I got time over the weekend. Boy, oh boy, I got a lot of work this weekend, but I'm pretty excited about the whole thing. People's been with me for a long time, know this is my game. So in conclusion, better to observe something like what's going on right now until the uncertainty clears. There's going to be some uncertainty created over the weekend. You got a lot of things going on, a lot of moving parts. Market doesn't like uncertainty. Then you got to ask yourself, what would make the market go up? Fed doing an early interest rate cut, would that make the market go up if they came in instead of waiting for the Fed meeting and cut it? I'd say that'd make the market go up, wouldn't you? Positive news about China and US shaking hands, that would make the market go up. I don't know if the market shutdown being over would make the market go up. It would pop, okay? It'd pop. I don't know if it'd hold. Be very careful on gold and silver. There will be an air pocket in gold and silver. You can use that for a buying opportunity, David, okay? Be very careful. I'll have some better numbers Sunday night for all that. All right, good slides, Jonathan. Just give Jonathan a hand for putting these slides together for us. They were perfect. That's what a team is about. Everybody working hand in hand to make sure we're in good shape going into next week.
Well, and I was just thinking if there is ever a Sunday night to tune into, it's going to be this Sunday night. Got to be there 8 o'clock tonight, or not Sunday night, excuse me.
8 o'clock Sunday night is going to be a big meeting, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
How many people that joined Weekend Side Hustle today thought I was going to deliver? I had to make you a little bit of money today with that Weekend Side Hustle trade. Sort of called my shot there, Trey, and Trey said I'm going to do it. Okay.
Yeah, and I might add the folks that are going to be with you down there in Jacksonville next week are in for a treat as well.
Yeah, no kidding. Face to face. Pretty good stuff. All right, what else we got? Amazon broke its month. Did you do? I didn't do Amazon. Put the month.
Yeah, I just added that a moment ago while we were talking.
Yeah, where's Amazon?
27. Well, Amazon's right around its month open.
Amazon is?
Yep. What I'm going to do while I won't stop to do this here, but in the background, I'll add the rest of the Mag 7 to the slides.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be helpful for Sunday night.
This is the weekly wrap up, October 10th. Hey, Monday after the close, we will issue another.
That's right. Let's go and raise that to $3,000 for a year. The newsletter. I'm just kidding. You can buy it today at $9.99 for a year. $9.99. Worth $3,000 a year, but I'm gonna just charge you $9.99. Okay. Let's go through this. This is going to be the first time we've seen this in a while looking like this. You want to update it, Jonathan?
Yeah, I need to update it. I'll update it live.
We're hitting 6606.
Okay, it's updated.
No, see, mini NASDAQ, Dow, crude short, gold still long. Silver's not long, is it? Okay, bonds are long. Okay, Apple's a short. Keep going down the list. Google, look at all this. TOL. What's long there? CCJ. My NNE held up. All right, NNE. There's some shorts. All the indexes. Folks, SPX just hit target, somebody said. Neil, type in where you got in, where you got out, where people could see it. Neil's catching on. All right, let's keep moving.
Hey, Tom, I was just looking at a number here. The last time that, I guess tariffs were
Is
really.
Chuck here?
Let me make my point here real quick. Last time tariffs were in the news, the S&P fell about, I think, 4% in the day or so. Maybe a little bit more. 65.45 would be 4% down from the high. 65.45. Chuck should still be here, by the way, definitely.
Tell Chuck to work us up some numbers. Next 3 levels down for me.
I'm here, Tom. The next number you're looking at is 6588. We went through that
Yeah,
a little bit earlier.
6606, 6588. It's like old times, isn't it, Chuck? Remember when you sat there with me and give me the numbers and I'd trade to those numbers? I think, what's the next one? What's the next one? Chuck and I have been together a long time.
Yeah, below 6588, you're gonna have to get some weekend work done. Um, let's see. Trying to think. Uh, Jonathan, you got your roadmap up and running? Because
Yeah,
that's probably the best way to go. Let's go back to that ETR line, flip over to the lows, and go to a daily on the interval. And instead of actually telling you the numbers, Tom, I'm going to show you how to do the work.
I know how to do it, Chuck. I'm trading while you're doing all this.
Right. So,
I only got 2 hands, Chuck. Got one hand on this account, one on that one.
right. So we'll
It's like
scroll
old
back.
times.
Yeah. So let's see. What are we looking at lows? Okay. All right. Hang on.
Chuck just threw a little shade my way, didn't he, folks?
But you see that 66.11 on September 17th. That was after rollover, after that jump.
Yeah.
So the 65.88 was actually the close of the previous week, but we go back and look at the low prices there. You got 76 the September 12th, 35.50, 22.50. All right, so that's kind of the big area. And then if you're going back even further, well, you just scroll the ETR page back further and get more lines. And so 64.89, 64.52. Yeah, trying to look for the 64.25.50. And of course, you mentioned the opens, the open of the quarter, which is a big number. You can get that by looking. Actually, I guess you can't look on your compass. We need to get that fixed. But the open of the quarter, let me see if I can grab that for you real quick because I got that written down somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, we got a new quarter. The previous quarter open was 62.45.75. So yeah, there's a lot of area for the market to drop.
All right, let me show you something that Jonathan said. Jonathan, and will you post those numbers in the chat? I'll copy them from the chat, Doug. All right, couple things. When does stock stop trading tonight? 8 o'clock, right? So knowing that information, Chuck said something, or not, Jonathan said something. He said, hey, where's NVIDIA's monthly open? Put a chart up there. Where's NVIDIA's monthly open? I'll show you the value of what he just said. Okay? Tell me where the monthly open is, Jonathan, on NVIDIA.
$185.
When he said that, you know what my first reaction was? What do you think I did?
You probably shorted NVIDIA.
Absolutely, exactly what I did. And I did it off your numbers because when it breaks the monthly open, they had a flush. And I knew I had until the market's still going down. I knew I had until 8 o'clock tonight to get out of it. And I said, I might as well take the trade. He handed it to me. That's experience, but I wanted to show you the power of monthly opens. Everybody say yes in here if you now understand why I'm always emphasizing monthly opens. Type a yes in here. Don't ever, not every day you get to see a lesson like that. I listened, and when he said that, I know Jonathan's pretty reliable with his numbers, and so I went with it. And that's the beautiful thing about it, okay? Because the S&P, what's the rule? The S&P, what does the S&P do? The S&P was dropping. NVIDIA broke the monthly open. The S&P was at 6606 and falling. 75% of all stocks, write this down, type it in there, follow the S&P. I said, well, I got the S&P falling, right? NVIDIA just broke the monthly open. NVIDIA's at 183 right now. It's about $1.50. That's not bad. I want y'all to learn this stuff because I won't be around forever. I learned it many years ago. Been a while since you saw me on the bear side, right? But this is not a bear. I honestly believe that this could be the buying opportunity of the year. Now, I do need you I got out, mister, got out. I don't fall in love with any stock anymore. Okay, they're turning up the pressure. They're reducing government employees. They just made an announcement there. Okay, I want to take a picture of that, Chuck, because that saves me a lot of work. I'll compare your numbers to mine after I do my own work. Folks, if you go through the next week with me, you'll never leave. That's a promise. Because nobody has been beaten up in a market like this like I have, and I'm going to share those experiences throughout the week as it lasts. Now, it might be a short-term thing, though. I got to tell you that, okay? Everything in my mind is short-term right now until we get some stabilization, okay?
Yeah, hang on just 1 second, Jonathan. 64.25 was not the July open. That was 62.45. So, yeah.
Thank you for saying that. Not enough space on the screen to fit them all in.
We can always make more. So I tell you what, Tom, no need to take a picture. Jonathan's putting on the slide for you and everyone else.
Let's keep going to the slides. Are y'all enjoying this wrap up? All right, train and trade next week, 11 o'clock. What are our topics? Columbus Day, what it means for the market. I'll give you a whole bunch of stuff on Monday, what Columbus Day means for the market. Tuesday, How to approach trade day after a substantial decline. I'll show you what I do. This is the most important part. It was hard to pull back today, wasn't it? Keep your hand off the mouse. How many people had trouble keeping their hand off the mouse from when I said I would circle the wagon? It's hard to do, isn't it? That's the discipline that you need to succeed. That's the art of trading, the discipline you need to succeed. I have 5 stocks by Thursday. You want to focus on October. David threw the mouse up against the wall. Setting up the second half of October with the three-day algo. Perfect. We'll do that on Friday. All right, sounds like a plan. What's next? 5 things to watch next week. I can't read that. John, why don't you cover that for me?
Slide says macro central bank and rate expectations. Powell speaks on Tuesday, I believe. Maybe, I say maybe because we don't know. Maybe we'll get some economic data released. Maybe not.
Well, let me tell you, if they don't come to the table after people in their district losing their job and ringing their chain, this thing might last a while.
The banks are scheduled to report earnings, start the earnings season next week. And boy, we know this from today. Geopolitical risk. Finally, we got not finally, but number 5 on the list is what I mean by finally, but we saw a spike in the VIX today. So what does that mean going forward?
What did I tell you this morning about the sell-off? The VIX is moving higher. It was up 5%. That was a warning sign to me that this was not just going to be a spike down. When I did all day long, even while I was out and about, I said, John, where's that VIX? Been rising all day long. That's a warning sign. This is real. Keep going.
This is the slate of news on the schedule. Again, it's all pending.
Okay.
Next week's schedule.
Futures class on Monday and Tuesday. Chuck's going to make that one with Jonathan. Wednesday, we have train and trade. Thursday, I got to move that beta session on Thursday morning, I think. I'll see. Remind me. Okay. Friday, probably 2:45, Jonathan, on Friday. If you'll put the retirement center then, I'll move it to 2:45, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to be in Orlando, so I got to see when they kick me out of the hotel type thing. Okay, I want to ask the people here that's member of my TNT. If you took all the things I do you think the value of TNT is worth $200 a month? I just want to ask the question. It's an absolutely yes, without a question. Yes, 150% of what I charge, okay? I think it's great because guess what? Sunday night, I can reach out and touch it. We don't need a whole logistical nightmare to try to get information to you. That's the value of it. Okay? Copy what Jim wrote. That's pretty nice. But that's about as close as you can be with me if you're not with me on Monday and Tuesday. beautiful thing about it, you can cancel at any time. And this war room that I created is real. We educate and we trade in TNT. That's simple. Real access. I got it up here on my screen right now. I might post some stuff in there this weekend because I got a lot of work to be ready before Sunday night at 8 o'clock gets here. How would you, here's a question I got to ask you. How would you like it if I was sitting beside you over the next 5 days? If you answer it yes, you better get in TNT because I'm going to be sitting. Rob, it's a Thursday, isn't it? This is all true. Everything's true here. Check it. I thought you'd be here Thursday. I'll call you at the close. We'll make sure we both know when it is, okay? Okay.
Yeah, this is always a good picture here. And the point is TNT, the Talking Trade Service, which Tom's going through right now, is just like sitting next to Tom, but it's all inside that Telegram channel. Great piece of technology. It allows Tom to get right to you, get everything he's doing right across to you.
It actually allows them to have you and Chuck with me putting information in there around the clock. That's why anybody I ever run into, I love that TNT. Pretty good place. Called T-Buzz Talking Trade. Plus Chuck, plus John. Projected tops and bottoms for each day. I give that. Okay.
Now this is important. This was this morning, and what did we see the market do? It breaks that projected support. That's a big warning sign, and boy, was it today.
That's 160 points ago. People in TNT had that information.
Tom gives a main pivot. We give you pivots throughout the day for our reference bars. By the way, I'll post a reference bar white paper in the chat here in a moment, but you can see the big gap in reference bar opens here between RB3 and Genesis this morning, almost 100 points, or it was 100 points between the opens. If you're not paying attention to the market and seeing it live, we give you these snapshots and immediately you know, all right, something's wrong here. That's the idea. That's the goal. Get the information across to you in a clean and efficient manner. And we have nice little tables that Chuck posts. I pointed out the
Got the pivot number around the clock, for Asia, Europe, US early, and US late. Where was the pivot number for this afternoon?
RB4 pivot number you made?
Yep.
RB4 is open. 6661 right there in the Telegram channel.
How many people could make money if you knew it broke the pivot number 6661? You think you might make some money this afternoon knowing that? It's 6601 right now. Okay. All right, keep going. I published a daily pivot early in the morning. Today's daily pivot was 6780, below the daily pivot. That's negative. 180 points ago. I keep it simple. Here's my 5 stocks that I posted today. Special insights. VIX up 15%. Pace will pay hands off mouse. Typed in there to remind people what I summarized. Has a lot of information that helps you set up next week, okay? Go to dtitrader.com/TNT. It's $200 a month. dtitrader.com/TNT. If you sign up right now, I won't start your subscription, but I'll let you in there November 1st. How's that for a bonus?
That's a pretty
Okay.
sweet bonus, if you ask me. 20 days.
Huh?
That's a pretty sweet bonus, if you ask me. 20.
Everybody understand, if you sign up right now and type in here, hey, I'm signing up, I'll have Jonathan make sure that your subscription really doesn't start to November 1st, if you sign up right now. I think we've earned your business, do it. All right, the next time you're going to hear from me will be Sunday night at 8 o'clock. Sunday night at 8 o'clock. If you're in the TNT room, I'll probably post something Sunday after I do some research for you to look at, okay? What, Todd? You're going to beat about the head and shoulders. Copy what Todd said. I agree, Todd. All right, folks. I'm wrapping it up. I'll see everybody Sunday night. No, it's open, Pete. Bond market's closed. Well, this was a good one. All right, let's wrap it up, and I'll see everybody Sunday night. Thank you, Jonathan.